To say that creating this look for this hutch was a lot of fun would be an understatement. This is a massive 78 by 72 inch hutch. It's huge and it came out amazing. In this video, I'm going to show you how I created this custom look. Apothecary is a green blue. This is just my base coat. Okay, so I'm going to use this brush, the blending brush, and my fine mist sprayer, and we're going to go at it. And this is the color. Ooh, I would have been mad if I would have poured that on my carpet. Okay, so that's the color. I took Marquee, Summer Crush, it was a while ago, and another color, Queen Bee, and I made this color. So I am going to add that as a base coat in certain sections, because even though she wants coral, just to add some depth, because there is a darker orange. This is just the base layer. I start off with Apothecary and my custom color blend that I called Redwood, and I just put it on in different sections. Take the drawers out because there is a lip, and so I'll have to do all of that. I'll do that since I took this one out. I'll do that later, but I typically will paint with my drawers in, because especially when I'm doing these blended looks, there's no way that you can match it up. And so it's going to be hard with the hutch, but I'm going to try to make it work where I can knead it all up, because it's so huge. It's in two pieces, and I have it on these dollies, and I don't want it to fall over. Creating your base look doesn't mean that that's how it's going to be at the end, but you will be able to see the colors come through. I'm going to take on Mermaid Tale and Sea Glass on the same brush, and then I'm going to apply it on top. I don't want it necessarily to blend with the Apothecary, but as it starts giving me a little bit of trouble, I just hit it with my fine mist sprayer so that I can get the paint to move. I definitely want to see the different layers, because again, this is a very layered look. I want it to look old, and I want it to look old world and blended and farmhouse all at the same time. And so my client really wanted a teal and coral finish at the very end. She actually gave me full free reign to do whatever it is that I wanted, and I had so much fun. I mixed in a little bit of Summer Crush on top of the Redwood color so that I could have some depth and different colors. Throughout the process, I pull out a sample of my inspiration piece, and that's what I use to make my custom color. So here, my Cowgirl Coral got very, very dry. It literally looks like a glob of clay. But DIY paint is water activated, so I just take my fine mist sprayer, add some water in there. You could pour water, but that's just what I had, and then it becomes liquid. I mixed it with Petticoat Pink to create a coral color, and I've done this in the past before, but I wanted lots of different colors, and so that was my first one, and I looked at it and it matched perfectly. Then I took Tarnished Pearl, which is a grayish white, and I added some of that chunked up Cowgirl Coral, and of course I added a little bit of water and mixed it up to create a different version of the coral color. And as you can see, I have two different shades. Then on the first one, I had heard someone say that they added a drop of boho blue in their coral, so I did that to just make it different. And earlier I put the two different samples onto there, and then I can show you the difference between all three of them. I start stippling it on to the different areas where I have the coral, and then I start dry brushing in all the other areas, whatever's left in my brush. Then I need depth. I need boho blue. I love this. It's a dark teal color by DIY Paint, and I add it on the bottom just to give me depth and just to ground the piece. And I blend it in and smush it in with the water, and I love the way that it turned out. Now to do something with my sides, I take a little bit of Mermaid Tale and Sea Glass on my blending brush, and I had some Apothecary to the side just in case I needed it, and I just applied it using a crisscross pattern just like I've been doing on this entire piece to create texture, and it creates like a marbled look, and I add water as I need it, and I just love the way that that looks. Check out the links in the description for all of the products that I used here. You can shop on my website, lisaboondesigns.com. And so here's what it looks like after it dries, but of course we're not done. This is a layered piece, and so we're going to add more layers. So I go to the front, it's not teal enough for me. I add more of the Mermaid Tail. And I don't use as much sea glass because the mixture of all of the colors was turning a little bit more blue, and we needed to stay in the teal family. And I added a little bit more of Apothecary as well, and I stipple it just to add texture. Now it's time to start on the top of the beast, and I start off with Apothecary. I decided that the center of this piece needed to be Apothecary so that I could try to blend it in with the bottom. It's not easy blending two pieces together, but it really did work out. On the sides, I put my blush color, and then right here I'm adding my Redwood color. Again, we're just adding layers, adding depth, so that when you distress later, you'll be able to reveal all of the colors. And again, I pull out my inspiration piece, and I just make sure that I'm on target. DIY Paint, look at the texture it creates. It's thick and it's awesome. Now, if you don't want it to be thick, you could just add more water and you can get a smooth finish, but that's not what I wanted here. I blend it in and I add it with a blush color, and the Apothecary is just such a great neutral color. I wanted the inside of this hutch to look different, and I wanted that coral color to be prominent on the inside. My clients had taken out all of the glass and all of the mirror and the back panel, which made it so much easier for me, and I started off with the Redwood color. I wanted to give them a little surprise, and so I took out my IOD air dry clay, and I used the typesetting stamp to create an S. And so I just work the clay in my hand, and then with a rolling pin, I go ahead and I roll it out to a kind of circle oval shape, and then I take my typesetting, their last name starts with an S, and so I imprint it into the clay, and then I take a craft knife and I just cut out the S. It's just a nice little touch. They didn't expect it. They were so surprised. And it's just something special for my clients because this was handed down from her dad, but now it's hers. And so it needed to have her signature on it. So we took some Type Bond Blue. It's my favorite glue. It doesn't slip down when you put it on a vertical, and there I go, I apply it. I try not to squish my impression too much, but I try to make sure that all of that clay is adhered to the piece so that I can get a nice adhesion and no gaps. You can shop on my website for any of the products that I used here. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I needed something different on the top, and so I grabbed Old School. It's like a charcoal color, and then I smudged in some boho blue. I love the way that top turned out. I just took my insider brush and I applied it, and I diluted it with water and just blended it in. And I did the same thing to the sides and I rounded it as I did to the bottom. So I did that on the side as well. Then my favorite part is distressing, and I like to wet distress. I take a baby wipe and I just peel back the layers so that I could reveal what was underneath, all of the layers underneath. And it also helps with anything that's not blended really great. Here's a great look at how easy it is to reveal back what's underneath. And of course I only had one layer here, but it just works really great. Now when you're doing this technique, you want to go back and you want to hit it with a clean wipe so that you get the wood. Now I wanted to add Golden Ticket. Oh, I love Golden Ticket. Pennies from Heaven is another favorite as well. But I go ahead and I apply it and then I distress it with water. And see, as I spray the water to the side, it just starts coming off and dripping down, which gives you an incredible effect. And so there's a little bit of gold sparkle going down and then it sits on that top layer. Now, when I went back to look at my base of the buffet, I wanted to add some Old 57. I'd done it on the top and I needed to blend that in a little bit more just to have that teal color really coming through. And this is what the door looked like when I was done. Then you want to go back and you want to clean all your edges. And I just used a baby wipe. You could also use a sanding sponge, but I didn't want to sand the inside of their finish. And so you just wipe it clean. And here she is, all finished. I sealed the top with 2 coats of Big Top, which is our poly top coat. It's liquid. And then on the bottom, I did 1 coat of Big Top and 2 coats of the wax. Talk about an incredibly durable finish. You can't get any better than this. Now you can still see the Golden Ticket and you can see all of the layers coming through. My client sent me this picture. She was thrilled. She posted this on Facebook. This is what she looks like, totally finished with the fabric on the inside. This is what I gave her. And she was so surprised and so well pleased. And that's the best compliment that you can get when a client is extremely happy at what I've created. It's a blessing to me to be able to bless her. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If you need any of these products, you can hit me up on my website, lisaboondesigns.com, to get DIY paint, iron orchid design products, or even recycled treasures, decoupage papers. Thank you so much for watching.